So let's get into it. Our finalists for, we are starting with the passenger section.
Yeah, because it was interesting, you guys, last week when you were here with Damien and Alistair from the AA, you talked about how the EV generation has sort of meant that we're going back to some more traditional formats of car, like hatchbacks and sedans and things. That's just because electric car platforms are so sort of flexible. So in the passenger category, we've actually got a couple of cars that we've talked about already in the clean car section, a couple of electric cars. And I guess the difference is we look at them with a particular lens in the clean car section, but when it comes to passenger, we look at them in a different way as practical family, city commuter or family road trip cars. So we're looking at them in a really different way, which is why we can look at the same car in a number of different categories. And the first one is the BYD Dolphin, which you guys talked about a lot last week. So great little electric hatch, smaller than the Atto 3, which is technically an SUV, I suppose. It's so grey, isn't it? It's so blurry.
Absolutely.
Dolphin, very definitely a hatchback. It's a little super mini size hatchback. A couple of different models. BYD does a cheaper one. It's under 50 grand with a smaller battery. That's really a fleet car. The one we're probably more interested in is the extended range. It's got a 60 kilowatt battery. It's 430 k's range. It's 56 grand and it's fully loaded, so that's the really nice dressed up one that you're seeing.
And I think that plus 400k range, Avon, is kind of the sweet spot for the consumer, isn't it? It's where people kind of feel comfortable and they don't have that range anxiety.
Yeah, I think that 150 kilowatt works well in that car. And of course it's part of that whole BYD story, which we absolutely love, right? So you've got a fantastic battery company in China that wants to start transitioning to vehicles. So what do? They go get the head designer from Lamborghini to start making cars. So what they've ended
know that. Is that
yeah.
Wow, okay.
What they've ended up with is an inexpensive but not cheap platform. And it really works well in the Dolphin.
With great battery tech too. I mean, really
it's got the Blade battery.
And that's also, have I heard that right, that because of the Blade technology, there's less degradation in those batteries.
It's one of the advantages with
and it's safer.
And it's safe, they don't catch on fire. I love it how before you skimmed over the fact that they make 150 kilowatt. 150 kilowatt is what we dreamt of when the first RS Legacies and the WRXs came out with. That was horsepower we dreamt of, and now it's like 150 kilowatt. You know what I mean?
V8 Commodores used to have 160 on the bootlet.
That's it. We've come so far, haven't we?
Anyway, we'll move on to another familiar vehicle, the MG4, which you guys also talked about last week. So that's another fully electric car, small 5-door family hatch. And the genius of the MG4 is it's not only really practical, it's great to drive because it's rear-wheel drive. And there's this massive range. There's 3 different battery sizes, so you can basically, because the batteries are the expensive part of a car, so they've really done something smart by giving people the ability to pay for the range that they think they need. So you can get 3 different battery sizes. There's 3 different specifications. Price range from 47 grand to 64 grand for the mainstream ones. And there is just a new flagship model, which we have to mention, although we won't get too bogged down in it because we'll get all fizzy and excited, the X-Power, which has like supercar acceleration, and that's still under 70 grand.
That's in the sub 4 second 0 to 100k category, which is now beating an Audi e-tron for probably 4 times the price.
And when you look at it, more and more people are opting for MG. It's on their radar simply because of that price point.
Well, the dealer network's growing too.
And then you mix that with kind of sub 4 performance, and who doesn't want one? It's head snapping.
And they look great as well.
And you've got to mention the rear wheel drive, right? What a winner that is for MG, because they were the sort of first to adopt it, and now they're sort of keeping it in the range.
And again, the genius of electric platforms, if you want to put the motor at the back, you can. It's no big deal.
Yeah, sure.
In front of it doesn't matter.
So 2 finalists, the BYD Dolphin, the MG4, and the third one?
The last one is a much more traditional car, the Opel Astra. So a car that we might have known in previous generations is a Holden Astra. This is a really fantastic car. It sort of represents everything Opel was about. It's really cutting-edge design. It's absolutely loaded with safety tech. It's got fantastic features, like it's got AGR seats that are approved by a German, AGR is a German back health organisation, so these fantastically comfortable front seats.
What do you mean? What do they do? What are the seats?
They're certified, like you can buy a bed that's certified by the Chiropractic Association. Well, these AGR seats are certified by an independent German back health organisation.
Very good lumber for bad backs.
No, but the thing is, right, every time I drive a car, my legs go numb, and I'm not joking, and that's not a great thing.
Try one of the Opels. It's an unusual car too. So it's 50 grand for the SRI. It's fully loaded. And it's very green, 5.1 litres per 100 Ks, no electrification whatsoever. So it does that with no help from electrification. So an incredibly clean, very conventional car.
How have they done that?
3 cylinders.
3 cylinders.
3 cylinders are amazing.
Great fun to drive.
Yeah, right.
Sounds good. And there's also now, probably not part of our judging this year, but it's worth a mention, they have actually now added a FEV model. So it's 72 grand, it's called the GSE, which stands for Grand Sport Electric. So you can buy a sporty one now too.
Well done, Opel. Opel's back. I mean, I drove past the Mercedes dealership on the North Shore just recently, and I saw it there at the very start. Yeah.
Well, the Astra badge is 40 years old.
Yeah.
And I think about 7 generations under GM.
Absolutely.
And now it's switched to Stellantis, which is Peugeot Citroën. So they're sharing that drivetrain. With the Astra.
Wonderful. That's our passenger category sorted. So BYD, MG4 and Opel Astra.